I started making my first React project, which is a to-do list. I also did not style my to-do list as you saw from the thumbnail because the sole reason for this project is to learn React. So I'm gonna show you how I do what I do in this project in as much detail as possible. As this video is a slow one, I recommend you guys to watch it in 2x speed to roughly understand how this project works, then slow it down to normal speed to understand the code in more detail. And lastly, I'm planning to make a secret project for you guys, and I will have the form about the project in the description down below. So let's go. So no script, no nothing, and I'll go through in detail the project that I did recently. So let's go. By the end of the video, you will have this project which does this to-do list, and when the user type in the to-do list, the to-do item they need to do, like study, and when you press submit, it will produce here. Then when they are allegedly done with studying, they can just delete, and ta-da, they are done. So yeah, so the first step that I do is to import useState from React. The reason why I'm using useState is because there is an updating of this that is involved, so that you can add a new item and delete a new item from the to-do list. Next, I will define the component which is random, because it's a random project that I'm doing. So I'll call it random. Then I will just set up my useState over here. I will explain each line in more detail. So this is the to-do list, which is this. If you are reading this, please subscribe. And this will update this to-do item, which is task. Then this is the original state, which when you refresh, because there's nothing, which is the originally nothing. And yeah, the next line is to-do item, set to-do item. This will help me update the to-do item that I'm adding into the list. So the original variable will be an empty string. Next, I will show you how I handle the input change, because if you do not do this, the text that you put will not be produced or will not be shown. How does this work? It is a function which accepts a parameter of event because you are changing it, which is an event, you are typing it. Then the whatever you type will set the to-do item to. So this will be set, this event.target the value which is trgch, and we'll set it into the to-do item variable. Next, I will want to add a new to-do item, which is when you submit, this will be added. This task will be added with the delete button. The reason why I put it in the console of the name submit is because I want this to happen when I submit the button. And when I submit the button, which is over here, I activate the functions of submit, which activates this function. Furthermore, I want this function to activate after removing the space in the input that the user is typing. Let's say maybe I put like space study. Don't know who will put that. And when I press submit, it will remove the space. So that's what the trim does. And after doing that, these 3 lines of code will be activated. And I will explain each line in more detail. So constant.new task equals to this. This means that all this is considered as one task. Each task will have an unique identification of date now, which is the date now. And then you also have this text colon to do item, which means that the text we study has a variable of to do item, which is a string. And all this combined together is equals to one item, which is new task. Then I will set task, which is the way to update the to-do list, which is this, is to set task function, which is doing this. And what this does is spread the current to-do list item, which is this trgch and study, and remove both of these from the list and add it into the new list that you are currently setting. And then furthermore, you are appending this new task, which is you define over here with this long thing, and put it into the new to-do list, which is tasks. Do note that each task also, these two tasks that you add also have a unique identification. If you want to specifically call a item or you want to extract specifically the text, you have to do it with identification so that it doesn't affect the other to-do item. This to-do item, which is the value over here, will be an empty string, and it is defined over here. Yeah, so yeah, value equals to-do item, which is the input. The value is the to-do item, which is whatever you type, this will be the to-do item. As you can see, when you submit, it becomes empty. Yay. Next, deleting the tasks. Now I will explain the most difficult part that I find it hard to explain, which took me so many tries to explain it. I will try my best. So this function accepts the parameter of ID. When I click this delete button, this ID will be equals to this t.id, which is the ID of this specific task, which is gym, which is the date that you put the gym task inside of. And then this t.id will be the ID of this here. Don't confuse this with this. You may be confused because this is here is t.id. T.id, if put inside there, maybe put inside here is maybe the parameter will be t.id. Then you put it right here. Then you may be confused. T.id is not equals to t.id. It doesn't make sense. So it may be easily confused because this t.id is specifically the ID of this task, and this t.id is for every task you will go through this t, which is for every task that you go through, and you'll go through each of those ID, if that makes sense. So this will be the specifically the ID of the task that I want to delete. Then you will go down the list. Okay, let's say the ID of this maybe it's not equals to the ID that I'm trying to delete, which is this, so it will leave it. Then going down the list again, study the ID of this, which is t.id, is not equals to the ID that I'm trying to delete, which is the t, which is gym.id, ID of the gym thing, so it will leave it. Then going down, it will do the same until we reach gym. Oh no, the t.id, this ID of this gym, which is now here because after going down the list it will reaches here, is equals to the ID that is actually this t.id, the ID of the gym task that I'm trying to delete. What does this do is to delete out this. It will then delete out this gym task. And yeah, hope it makes sense. So after the tough explanation, I will then explain what the return thing does, so that it will display the to-do list in the website or wherever you are putting it. So the first thing is the input, which is the typing thing. It has the input tag as a type of text because you're typing text into it. Then on change, it will have the function of handle task change, which activates this function when we type. This means that it will set the to-do item event target value is the whatever we type and set it as to-do item. This to-do item will be then shown over here. Value equals to to-do item. Pretty simple. Next, the button. When we click the button, it will activate the submit, which is over here, which is defined over here, which I explained just now, and it has a text submit. Then the list itself is unordered list, Then to display each of the lists in the unordered list, I will use the map function, which basically activate this function into each of these lists, each of these item, which means that for each task that you go down, this will produce a list with a key of task.id, which is a way that React will identify the task. Then it will produce the t.text, which is the task here. Wait, let me see. The task, the text, which is to do item. And then this will also have a button which has the delete task function, and has the parameter of t.id. This t.id, which is just now I explained, is the ID of the task itself. And then we just close the list, and that's about it. Yeah, I tried my very best to explain it. So anyways, yeah. So yeah, this is how I made my React project. Anyways, that's my opinion. Bye.